Okay, so let's get back to doing this. So okay, yeah, here is just a warning trying to tell you for the recommended width, but yeah, we can ignore it and continue essentially. So let's try to build, you know, something similar to this. I'm not gonna go ahead to do all of them. I'm just probably gonna take, a cross section of it, maybe this, I don't know, and the lines, I guess. Okay, so without much further ado, and we might also get onto doing this as well. Yeah, so let's create a new question. So I'm gonna call it select and place. Right, I'm gonna choose that. Let's expand this so that we can have more space to work with. Okay, so um yeah, so the first thing we do is, we have, essentially this box, to the left over here. Yeah, we can essentially create all of the basics and then later on change the color. So I could, ideally this would make sense to be a lighter color. So let's say something like this so that we can put a little bit more things in here. So let's change this. I think we had application server. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase this font size. I'm going to make it bold, and I'm also going to centralize it. So if I try to reduce this, I'll come back to this tool. If I try to reduce this, then it can, take this shape. Okay. I can also create a fill. So if I go to the fill, the background, I can change the background color to, I don't know, let's say something here. Let me make it a little bit darker so that I can use a white color for the text. So for the text color over here, I can essentially just, use white. Okay. So I can move this here, and this is the only one I'm gonna do from that group. And what I would normally do is, click on, drag. Okay, so for the other one, it's mostly going to be something similar. Or I can even duplicate this. You know what? I'm just gonna delete this and then duplicate this. So I'll click on this and then duplicate it and then bring it down here. So what I can do in here now is to change the text here, and I can just say place here. Okay. I can use, let me see if this will be better. Okay, I'll most likely use the margin to bring it down, and maybe the line height as well. Or I guess the margin would just do. I can use the margin to just, bring it down, and then I can call this, this is a droppable. Okay. I can add an image. I can add an image from file. I think there is a computer image over here. Old computer, I think, if I remember. Yeah, old computer. Yeah, so that is it. I'm going to take off the border because I really do not need it. And then I'll reduce the size of this so that it just fits. And the next thing is to create a text in here. So for the text, we're gonna have computer 1, and I'll go to the next line and then type something like Windows XP. Go to the next line, Pentium. Sorry, I have the image, on my phone here, so I'm just taking a look at it to see what I'm doing. So we have 128 megabyte RAM. Okay. so I can reduce the size of this font over here. So I can just, maybe make this small. Or another thing I can do is to separate this. So I can create a new text field, and I'm just going to copy this over here. Okay, I'll copy this over here. So the reason I'm doing this is because I want to make the computer name bold, and if I add bold, it's going to affect all of them. So what I'm going to do is to just separate them. I'll first of all take off this border. I'll do this. I think I can increase this text size a little bit. So as opposed to small, I can keep it at medium, and then this one I can put it as I think I can do the same thing. For this one I can make it bold, and then I'll take off the line in here, and I can just put this to fit. Okay, so I can do this in here, and what I can do is to select the three of them, okay, and then group them. So I can group them, so that it's now a group that I can move around, and then duplicate it, to put it in all other places. And after duplicating it to put it in all other places, I need to ungroup them, which you can always do with this. If you ungroup them, you can always go back to editing the component. So that's what I normally do. I'll select all of them, I'll group them, I'll duplicate them, take them to where they need to be. I can ungroup them, edit them, and if I need to, I group them again. So creating this group now is creating a border around it, which is making it ugly, so I'm just going to take that out. So the next thing is to add a line, essentially. So I can just say new shape line. So this is just like the network, connection. So I can do this. Let me duplicate this line because I would need it again. Don't need to flip it. So for this, I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees so that it goes up. I'm going to reduce the size because I really don't need it this thick. For the stroke, I'm going to increase it to, let's say, 2. Yeah, so I'm going to put this here. I'll take off the border, or not the stroke. I'll take off the border, so this will show this connection. And I'll do the same thing here. I'll reduce this. I'll make this border 0, and then the stroke I'll increase it to 2, and then I'll put it here to, like, connect this. And I can add a text here if I wanted to. Sorry, a new text, which I can say Ethernet connection. Okay, so I can bring it here. I can adjust this, and then I can take off the border, and yeah, so if I wanted to, I can duplicate this group, bring it down here, and ungroup it, and then make any other change. So because yeah, I'm just gonna press this button because of this warning over here, so that you can rearrange and then bring all of the draggables and droppables in the right place where it's supposed to be. So I have a drop here, and then I think I also have a drag here, the application server. So if this were to be it, it means I can move this item here, but the item doesn't fit, so I can also you press this to adjust this. You can see it's adjusted now to fit. It's adjusted to fit, but I know that the width is also still much. So yeah, so you can always use this to also change and then adjust the way you want, change the colors and all of those things. So that's essentially what was done for that. So I'm just going to save this and then create a new question and then show you for the second one. So same thing, I'm going to expand this, and there is the map which I'm going to add from file, and it's called Nigeria map. Okay, so this is pretty much a big map, so I'm going to reduce the scale a little bit, take off the border as well, and then expand this a little bit to fit. Let me see if the center is gonna help. Okay, that helped a little bit. Let me see if I can also get a little bit more room here. Okay, so you can further reduce the scale of the image if you want to, but this is how far I'm most likely gonna take it. Okay, so what I had to do was to come to the draw tool, and then I came to start tracing this. You can, just gently trace it by continuing to click. When you get to a point, you click, so that's essentially what I'm doing. I just keep clicking. Just be careful not to double click, because when you double click, it signals the end of your tracing and it just joins it to the very starting point. So I'm now at the starting point. I just double click and it's gonna create my shape for me. Okay, so this is not the best of drawing. I'm just trying to be fast here. So what I can do, of course, take off this, and then I can duplicate it, and change the color of this one. I can change the color of this one, so from this to, I don't know, something a little bit more. I can always click this to choose this color and then make it slightly darker. Excuse me. Let's do that again. So I choose this. I can keep it as is, but I don't feel it's going to be very obvious, so I'm just going to make it slightly darker. Slightly darker is fine. Okay, so what I can do here is, because if I try to put this in here, it's not going to fit properly. So what am I trying to say? So this is what we've just done. Let's make it a droppable, and then this other one, let's make it a draggable. If I try to put this inside here, it's not going to fit very well, because of, by default, we'll add a minimum padding. So what we can do is to adjust our droppables to fit, or you can do that manually to fit how you want it to be. So when I click on this now, you're gonna see that this is going to change. So this has changed now, but we want this to be at the center. So I can use the margin to like adjust it to bring it towards the center. In order to see this very well, I'm just going to put back the border and then move the margin so that it goes towards that center, so that if we come to put this now, you can see that it tries to fit. You can play around with that a little bit to adjust it slightly to how you want. So what I can do now is put this back here and then take off the border again, and then I can always move this here. So I can do the same thing for all of the other places, and yeah, so that is how this question was built. Okay, I think that's about it for this video. Thank you very much for watching.